one day,
he came to us on the patio and said, I signed up for the Marines. And it was like, oh my gosh.
yeah, I remember standing
You
up.
couldn't have picked the Army or the Navy. You had to go for the Marines.
Yeah.
And his reasoning was
yeah.
he believed more in their message. They were the best of the best,
Yeah.
the toughest of the toughest, and he wanted to do that.
I remember standing up when he said that, and I looked him in the eye and I said, "You know where you're going." And he said, "Yes, Dad. Someone has to." So
Yeah.
that tells you a little bit about his heart.
His dad was very instrumental in encouraging him to go into the Marines. Thought it would be helpful to help him grow up. He was 19 at the time and had been in college for a while, but hadn't really found his footing.
He wanted to be a Marine. It was something he wanted to do. That was Aaron.
My grandfather was a Marine during the Korean War. He's no longer with us, unfortunately, but growing up, I always saw that as just the rite of passage, you know, and if I were to serve my country, that was the way that I'd want to do it. So the Marine Corps Infantry, that was it for me.
In the spring of 2005, when American troops were in the depths of the Iraq War, Lima Company, 3rd Battalion, 25th Marine Regiment was guarding a dam in the dangerous Anbar province in western Iraq.
You know, we are the Warhorse Company in Anbar province. We are it. The surge has not happened yet. You know, Dave Petraeus hasn't even thought about us yet. We are it. And so we are the people, when we go out there and we fight and how we perform, that is how people are going to perceive how the war is going. And so it does put some pressure on you.
14 Marines died in a single explosion in the Anbar province on August 3, 2005, 11 of them from Lima Company's 12-man 1st Squad of the 3rd Platoon. The men had all been aboard the same amphibious assault vehicle, part of a convoy that rolled through the most dangerous part of Iraq to hunt for whoever had ambushed and killed 6 Marine snipers 2 days before.
We were just sitting around getting ready for the next day, or some of the guys who were in the track the next day, they were just doing the regular things, or putting the trash in the trash pile, setting it on fire, and you know, just normal things. And we got on our tracks the next day, we rolled out, and that's when it happened.
A landmine buried under the road exploded. Their 26-ton vehicle launched into the air, flipped and burned. Everyone on it was gone.
I'll be honest with you, when we drove, and I didn't really hear anything because it was so loud on the track. We just felt a thump, a big thump. And then some noise came over the radio, and the drivers just stopped, and you know, we kind of skidded over. And then noise came over the radio, and they were like, one of the tracks was hit. And so immediately we dropped the hatch and we got out. And as soon as we got out, we just saw a pillar of smoke, a huge pillar of smoke, and the fireball was so huge, and there's just no way. We knew there was no way that anybody could make it.
It was written about as a roadside bomb, but that's a euphemism. It wasn't. It was in the middle of the road, and it was 3 anti-tank mines stacked vertically so they would amplify each other. And they blew a 30-ton vehicle into the air. And even if people hadn't been hit by shrapnel or anything like that, just the overpressure, the shock wave is enough that it kills all by itself. There's no surviving something like that.
2 Marines came to the door. It's just like in the movies, but I still didn't think it was anything. I thought he had gotten hurt.
That was a Wednesday. I found out at 11:15. I can show you the spot in the yard where I found out.
We prepared for a pretty big memorial service on top of the dam, and I think there's pictures of it. But just the number of helmets on top of rifles and boots was just staggering.
Aaron was 21 years, 11 months, and 11 days old when he died. But I have 21 years, 11 months, and 11 days worth of memories. and most of them are pretty good.
If he came through the front door, I wouldn't faint.
Yeah.
I'd just say, "Hey there, buddy, how you doing?"
Yeah.
I wouldn't, it wouldn't surprise me, because sometimes I still think, did this really happen to us?
Yeah.
Is it real?
Yeah, the hope that they are not gone is always there.
Yeah. As strange as that sounds.
Yeah.
Like he's still on a special op or something.
Because we were never able to see him.
Yeah, there was no remains left.
So
Nothing.
that makes it harder, I think.
Yeah, nothing to touch.
Yeah. 10 years. It's like a blink sometimes, and other times it's an eternity.
The first couple of years we would get bushwhacked just,
Yeah, we call it ambushes.
yeah,
Something happened.
yeah. We'll hear a song, we'll see somebody, you know, there were so many tall, big guys that I saw from behind them, like, maybe it's Justin. But there's still things, I mean, I'll still have a dream, and Justin will be in my dream, and he'll come up and give me a hug, or I'll see something or read something, or somebody will say something to me. Even his brothers, the youngest one now who's 30, they're both older than he was, does things, and every now and then I'll see an expression on his face that's just like, is that Justin? Sometimes he's in my dreams with his brothers just goofing around doing stuff. He used to love to just choke them out on the driveway and then drop them.
I see him in a lot of different ways. I see him as the young man that I hugged when he left. He was scared and excited. He was mature and childish. Last thing he wanted me to do for him was buy him a strawberry milkshake. And I see him in my face when I look in the mirror. And I really want to see him. I look in the mirror because he looked a lot like me. I see him in his brother's face. I see him in my grandson. I do visit Aaron's grave. I do visit Aaron's grave sometimes. On August 3rd, I'll go there and I'll lay flowers.
So at the funeral, these are Eric's friends. They carried it out, but then after that, the Marines take over.
They're the ones. It's ever present for you anyway, but then when you see, every time you turn on the TV, something's going on. And it was that way for years, yeah.
But the flip side of that was I felt such a pride
True.
that my son had been part of such a unit that had done so many good things,
Yeah.
had a good history. Incredible men. Not just the men that he died with, but the men that had come home and were
Their
working through
accomplishment is
things.
We have quite a few success stories. I'll give you, for example, we have one of our guys is in the Secret Service now. We have a guy who does counterintelligence for the State Department. We have guys who are lawyers now and who are have finished their MBAs, who are successful in corporate America, who are we have guys who are corrections officers, guys who are firefighters, police officers. One good guy, a good friend of mine, a guy in my unit, who's a Sunni Muslim guy from Bangladesh, naturalized citizen. He's a Columbus police officer, now guarding the streets in the Northland area. Amazing.
If you stop and think about it too, people lose children every day. And people that know them and love them gather around them and hold them and love them and do whatever they can do to comfort them. Justin died 10 years ago, and you're here today. To me, it's an honor that so many people care that much. And I know it's not Justin, and I know it's certainly not because he's my son by any means. It's that people care about us, about the families, about these boys that ended up giving their lives for our freedom.
my faith, my friends, my family, and when I say family, I'm talking about the Lima Company family. So my faith, my friends, Aaron's friends, and the Lima Company family have all upheld me on that sea of time and grief.
I think a lot of them are in heaven, if not all of them are in heaven together. I mean, the Marines say that God has Marines patrolling the streets up there. Somehow I don't think God needs patrols up in heaven, but that's the way the Marines see it. Most of these families, not all, but most of them are God-believing, flag-flying, families that, are all about God, family, and country, in that order. And I know almost every one of those Marines was brought up in that kind of an atmosphere and that kind of an environment. So they know God, and I think it's very likely that they're all up in heaven. I don't think they're doing some of the things they did down here, but I don't know. I've not been there.